Hi you guys, I hope you're having a good time with the substitute so far. In this video, I'm just going to go over the exit ticket that you guys had from last class. So you should have your copy of your exit ticket on your desk. If you weren't here last class, then ask the sub for an extra copy. And what I'm going to do is go over each of the problems. A lot of you guys made little mistakes, so we're just going to do all of them together. As I go along, I want you guys to be writing the correct answers and the work on your paper. And then once you're done, you're going to tape this onto page 5 of your interactive notebooks. Okay, so for problem 1, a lot of you guys missed the fact that this A right here, if it doesn't have an exponent, you're going to put a 1 as your exponent. The 2 doesn't have anything to be combined with, so it's just going to stay as a 2. A to the first power times A to the second power is A to the third power. So you just add those exponents, and that would be your answer. Some of you guys tried multiplying the exponents or just said it was 2a squared because you didn't put the 1 as an exponent on this a right here. So just remember, anytime a number does not have an exponent, you can put a 1 there. And when you're multiplying the exponents, you're going to add the powers. All right, so on number 2, keeping that in mind, you're going to put a 1 as your exponent for the 4. A lot of you guys did not apply the 2 to the 4 right there. So some of you guys got the answer 4v to the 6th power. That's almost correct, but you forgot to apply the squared to the 4 right there. So 4 to the first power squared. Our shortcut for this is to multiply the exponent. So 2 times 1 is 2. So that's 4 squared. And then 2 times 3 is 6, so this is v to the 6th. So what I did was multiply the 2 by each of the exponents within the parentheses. Before I could do that, I had to put a 1 for this exponent of 4. After that, we can actually keep simplifying this. 4 squared is 16, and so it would be 16v to the power of 6. All right, on number 3, 3 divided by 2 would be 1.5. That's a decimal. So what I'm actually going to do is just leave that as a fraction. 3 over 2. I'm just going to leave it like that. It can't be simplified, and 2 doesn't go into 3 evenly, so just leave it that way. Then when I look at the x's, I'm dividing x squared divided by x cubed. And the shortcut for doing that was to subtract the exponents. 2 minus 3, which is negative 1. So we get x to the negative 1 power. But if I read the directions up here, it said your answer should contain only positive exponents. To make the x to the negative 1 power positive, I have to move it to the other side of the fraction bar. So the 3 is going to stay on top, 2 is going to stay on bottom, but the x to the negative 1 power is going to move to the other side of the fraction, and I can make the exponent positive. So that would be 3 over 2x to the power of 1. Okay, now on number 4, you guys were doing great. Like you were, multiplying or distributing this exponent across, and then you were combining the terms with v, doing 2 squared times 2. You were working your way to everything on the inside, but you didn't notice this 0 right here. Anything to the 0 power is 1. So most of you guys were doing way more work than you needed to. All of this to the 0 power is just 1. So your answer is 1, and you would just leave it there. Okay, so now flip your papers over, and I'm going to review the back. Hopefully you guys noticed that there was a back side to this. If not, now you know. So once again, I'm going to remember to put an exponent of 1 if there's not an exponent there. So this is x to the first power over 2x to the fourth times 3x to the fourth. First, I'm going to simplify the denominator of this fraction before I do anything else. So I'm just going to ignore the x to the first power for now. In the denominator, I'm going to do 2 times 3, which is 6. And then I'm going to multiply x to the 4th times x to the 4th. When I multiply exponents, I can add the powers. So that would be x to the 8th power. Okay, so now that I simplified the denominator, I'm going to combine the x to the first power divided by x to the 8th by subtracting the exponents. 1 minus 8 is negative 7. So that's x to the negative 7 over 6. But remember, I want all of my exponents to be positive. So I have to move this to the other side of the fraction. Since there won't be anything left on top, I'm just going to put a 1 there as a placeholder. The 6 is staying on bottom. And the x to the negative 7 is moving to the bottom, and the exponent becomes positive 7. So just keep in mind, anytime you have a negative exponent, you're moving it to the other side of the fraction. All right, on this next one, there's a few different ways to do this. We could simplify the inside first and then apply the 4 to everything. And I think that's how I'll do this one, but there is a different way to do it as well. All right, I'm going to look at 2 divided by 2. That's 1, so I can actually just get rid of those. M doesn't have an exponent, so I'm going to put a 1 there. M to the first power divided by m to the 4th power. I'm going to subtract those exponents. 1 minus 4 is negative 3. So inside the parentheses, this simplifies to m to the negative 3 power to the 4th power. And my shortcut for taking a power to a power is to multiply these two exponents. Negative 3 times 4 is negative 12. So I get m to the negative 12th power. Once again, I want this to be a positive exponent. There's not a fraction bar, so I'm going to make one by putting a 1 underneath this. And then I'm going to move the m to the negative 12th power to the bottom. So that would be 1 over m to the positive 12th power. All right, so that's it for that one. I'm going kind of fast. If you guys want to rewatch this, I sent this same video to your school email, so if you need to use a Chromebook and rewatch the video for whatever reason while you're working, that's fine. Just as long as you're not watching other random videos or doing other stuff that you shouldn't be doing. Okay, so on number 7, I'm going to combine the numerators first, and then I'm going to work with the denominators separately before combining them. Okay, so n to the negative 1 times n cubed. I'm going to add these two exponents, negative 1 plus 3. So this 2 is just going to stay the same. And then n to the negative 1 times n to the negative 3. Negative 1 plus 3 is 2, so that's n squared. On the bottom, I'm going to put a 1 as the exponent for this 2 right here, so I remember to do 3 times 1. So that's 2 cubed. And then 3 times 4, so that would be n to the 12th power. Okay, these 2's have the same base. So I'm going to put an exponent of 1 right here, and I'm going to use the shortcut of subtracting the exponents. So anytime you're dividing, you can subtract the exponents. 1 minus 3 is negative 2, so that's 2 to the negative 2 power. 2 minus 12 is negative 10, so that's n to the negative 10th power. As always, I want my exponents to be positive, so I'm going to actually move both of these to the bottom of a fraction. And I get 1 over 2 squared n to the positive 10, which is 1 over 2 squared is 4, so 1 over 4n to the 10th power. All right, last but not least, problem 8. Let's see, first let's work with the top, and I'm going to put a 1 as the exponent for 2. Do 3 times 1, that's 2 cubed. 3 times 2, b to the 6th, times 2 to the first power since it doesn't have an exponent there, b to the fourth. Okay, so that's the numerator so far. Then for the denominator, I'm just going to multiply the negative 1 times 4, and that's b to the negative fourth power. Now I'm going to condense the numerator, so 2 cubed times 2 to the first. If I add the exponents, that would be 2 to the fourth. B to the sixth times b to the fourth. If I add the exponents, that's b to the 10th over b to the negative 4. There's a couple ways to do this, but I'm just going to subtract the exponents. 10 minus negative 4. 10 minus negative 4. It's the same as 10 plus 4. So I get 2 to the fourth, b to the 14th, and 2 to the fourth is 16, b to the 14th. And that's it. So make sure you have copied all of these down. If you need to rewatch the video and pause it if this was too fast, go ahead and check your school email, and you can do that. All right, feel free to email me during class, you guys, as long as you're actually emailing me, not on your Snapchats, and I'll try to answer questions if I have time. All right, be good to the sub. Have fun.